Hey everyone, and welcome to this 7th video in JavaScript ES6 and beyond tutorial series. In this video, we will be understanding destructuring and REST parameters. Let me in, yeah. Destructuring is a type of syntax which allows us to unpack our objects and arrays in bunch of variables. Now let's consider you have an object or an array, an object with 100 of properties or an array with 100 of elements, and you want to pick 5 or 6 out of them and use them inside a variable. Then destructuring is a thing to go with. This is what allows you to do the same. To understand destructuring, let's create a file inside our #6 folder, which we created inside our JS space ES6 project folder, which we created in our first video. If you have not followed up throughout this series, check the top right corner and start from the beginning. Now we can create a new file and call it index.js, and then let's consider we create an object and call it details. So it will be details of our user. Now, okay, I have to use the equal to notation. Now let's give it a username, and it could be coding else. Then we need the profession, and the profession could be web developer. I'm doing a lot of mistakes. Okay, and then we have a rating, which is an integer. Let's call it 4. And then let's have a password field, which should not be like this, which should not be displayed in our object, but let's have it like hidden pass. So it must be something like that, which is hidden. You cannot understand the password. Now this is our object, details object. Now if you want to pick up the username and password, for instance, we may be considering the login system, then we can use the destructuring syntax. To do that, we use const space the object notation. Since we are destructuring an object, we use this curly brackets, which are for object notation in JavaScript. Now what we do is we name it our variable, and then we assign the variable. Now this username is actually from the variable we'll be having, and this username is from this details field. Put a comma, and then we need the password, and we can call it the password, and then we put it equals to details. That is, we are assigning the values from details to these two objects, and they are getting destructured into username and password. Now if you go and log it, username and password, save this file, go to your command prompt and run node space index.js, and we can see coding else space hidden pass. So we have successfully destructured our object. Now let's see how we can destructure an array, and let's create an array const arr is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we have an array of 6 elements here, and we can destructure it using const space square brackets, which are the syntax for array notations, and then we give the values. For instance, we can say Friday, okay, and Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and you'll see how it automatically assigns in this order. So if I want a gap, I don't want the 5th element to be assigned anything, I'll just put a comma here and leave it, and then I want a Wednesday, which is not used. Okay, great. So if I print and put it equals to our array, now I'll go and log these elements for you: Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and especially the Wednesday, which is, I spell it wrong, so I'm using Wednesday here. Control S to save it, go to our command prompt and say node space index.js. Enter, and you can see it has skipped the 5th one, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 assigned to these variables. Now that we understood destructuring, we can move forward and understand REST parameters. Now to understand REST parameters, let's delete all of this code, and not all of this. Let's use this object, we'll be using it later. So the REST parameters are used to have any number of arguments or parameters into a function. consider you have a function which is print function, and it can have any number of arguments. You don't know what it could print, so it might be like x comma y. We are very sure that it has two arguments always, so we are saying x and y are the two parameters that will always be passed to this function call. But then we don't know how many number of arguments it will have later after that. So we use this three dot notation to declare an array which will consist of all the other elements that will be passed, the rest of the elements left aside of x and y. Now if I go and print this for rest and call this function print, and then we give it 2, very sure that 1 is going to x and 2 is going to y, and then we don't know how many parameters we can have because we have to give a value here, and save it, go to our command prompt and run node space index.js. You'll see it says it has an object 4 5 6 7 8 9 6, and sorry, not an object, an array. The rest is actually an array of the elements which are left after x and y, or the fixed elements. This three dot notation, also known as the spread operator, can be used to destructure our object above. Now if I go and use const an object arr, we're calling it an array, which it will be not, it will be an object, and if we log it the array, go to and run the, and you'll see it has the full object. Now we can have a username and a password as a separate variables. Now if I save this and go, you'll see it has only profession and rating, because username and password are separately destructured into a username and password variable, while the ARR is an object of the rest of the elements. You can also do the same with arrays. Now if we have an array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's give it a name ARR1. We want to destructure the array and we don't want first 5 elements. We can simply say comma comma. We don't want the first 3 elements, and then we want x and y. Sorry, dot 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 ARR2. Now we are spread using the spread operators, of course. So if you log it, the ARR2, go to your command prompt, run this, and you'll see it says missing initializer in destructuring declaration. Okay, we have not declared to what it is equals to. What a silly mistake, huh? Okay, now we had initialized. You can see it has 4 and 5, and the first 3 elements are omitted using these 3 commas. So this is pretty much it about destructuring using spread operator and destructuring using the destructuring syntax. In the next video, we'll understand more about objects and other things in JavaScript. If you have not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. Also like this video and share it to your colleagues. And as always, thanks for watching.